ITV Central Sports Report, sponsored by WeWantAnyCar.com, the Cash for Cars website.
Well, it's now only 24 hours to the start of the biggest boxing event since the Second World War.
Yes, tomorrow night, Midland star Carl Froch goes head-to-head in a rematch with George Groves in front of 80,000 fans at Wembley Stadium. Our sports correspondent is there for us now. Steve, it's going to be there, it's going to be live, it's going to be exciting. Just tell us all about the build-up. The weigh-in, of course, was this afternoon. How did that go?
Well, I suppose depends how you look at the weigh-in. From a point of view of did they weigh in successfully, then yes, but it was certainly a rude awakening for Carl Froch. George Groves, of course, a local boy to these parts. Massive support for him, and Carl took a fair bit of abuse as he took to the stage. But they both came in on the weight perfectly. George Groves actually, perhaps surprisingly, being he's often seen as the stockier of the two, coming in at 11-12, and Carl was 11-13, so no problems there. The fight goes ahead. Well, it's taken three people to make this fight happen, really. Carl Froch, of course, George Groves, and promoter Eddie Hearn. And I asked Eddie Hearn, with the fight so close, how's he feeling and what does he think it's going to be like?
It's all very well creating the hype. If you haven't got the product and if you haven't got the fight, it's not going to happen for you. Ultimately, we have the fight. The first one was epic. This one, I believe, will be even better. It's got everything. It's got the animosity, the rivalry, but ultimately it's got the credibility of a great fight.
Yeah, certainly getting very excited about it. Going back to that weigh-in that we talked about there's been a slight issue building up this week with George Groves' security. And if we take a look at the head-to-head from the weigh-in today, you'll see you can barely see George Groves because he gets blocked by a member of his own security team standing right in front of it, really upsetting, of course, the press photographers, not helping the TV crews at all, and actually not helping the fans because there was about 4,000 people there to see this happen. So a bit of a disgruntled feeling there towards his security that perhaps if you're already a superb boxer, do you really need that much security anyway? But well, I suppose the fight will go ahead. The fight is going to be so exciting, and what most people want to know is who is going to win. Well, I've spoken to three fantastic boxers, some from the past, some still in the game, to ask them for their verdict of who will win over 12 rounds. Richie Woodall, former WBC super middleweight champion, TV boxing pundit, the star from Birmingham, now works with Team GB. Rendell Munro, a WBA super bantamweight champion, once known as the boxing bin man, the 33-year-old from Leicester has just hung up his gloves, but still has his heart in boxing. Mikael Kessler, former super middleweight world champion, first professional fighter to beat Carl Froch. He later also lost to the Cobra and has sparred with George Groves. 3 fighters, 1 mission, 12 rounds to pick one winner.
His sparring has been very hard, he's well focused, he's been not living at home, living away from home, so he hasn't got the home luxuries. So in terms of preparation, I think Carl Froch, his preparation is A1.
I think mentally, because of the first fight, maybe Groves will have it.
Froch, this time round, I think he's been in the gym, he's put it right, and I think he's going to go out there and show everyone that why he's a world champion.
Technically, I think probably George brings a little bit more to the table than Carl.
It's difficult to say, but I would say Groves.
Groves.
Stamina, no question. I think Carl Froch is probably in another league to most fighters.
Carl.
Froch. Froch is a warrior. he's a warrior.
I think if I have to choose now, I have to choose. So they're both close, but I would say that Carl has the more experience, and I think he's good.
Groves, really. I think Groves is trying to get under Froch's skin.
I would go for Froch again. He's worked long and hard to be a world champion, and he doesn't want to let it go.
Oh, that's a good question. I would say I know Groves, he wants to be champ. He's more hungry than Carl.
I think Froch is going to go out there and show that, you know what I mean, there's still plenty in the tank.
Carl Froch has probably got the strongest chin in boxing, never mind in this fight.
I know Carl, he can take a punch, so I would say Carl on that one.
He's got to be Froch, hasn't it? Froch has been at the top level and took punches, you know what I mean? When you're getting hit by someone like Kessler and you're standing there, then you know you've got a chin.
That's a good one, actually. That's a close one. I think they're fairly even in terms of the punching power.
It's Carl.
I'd say Froch again.
I've got to go with Carl Froch to get it right this time because he got it wrong last time.
Who's going to control the fight? You know, in the last fight, Groves, he controlled it good from the first round. And probably Carl, he will try to make it different, but maybe Groves is going to try to do that again.
I think it'll be a 50-50 split, and you might see it change during the night, depending on the performance from both boxers.
Majority of the crowd are going to get behind Froch, but you know what I mean. I think a few people are going to go in there thinking that is Groves going to change it around again.
I know McCracken, he's good, and I know how he has to change Carl for this fight, and I think he's going to do a good job on it.
We've had our best Olympics for 50-odd years in 2012, with Robbie leading that. So in terms of the coaches, I don't think there's no comparison. Where's Paddy Fitzpatrick? Where's he been? What's he done? I think he's got an amateur club in Swindon.
Froch has been at that level for a long time, you know what I mean, fighting America, fighting people like Kessler.
On experience, Carl is probably better equipped and prepared for this type of occasion than George.
I would say Carl, he has more experience in that way, so he would win that.
I think Froch's brutal strength is just going to come there. I reckon it's either going to be a late stoppage or a points decision for Froch.
Carl Froch will win this fight, I think, and I think it'll be a little bit earlier this time. I think he will stop him in probably round 6 or 7.
I would say let the best man win. I promise you, let the best man win, and on the night, and yes, I would say that.
12 rounds, Froch winning this contest on points. On May 31st, he'll hope to do it by knockout. I hope that's got your heart rate up. We heard Kessler and Woodall there talking about how important Carl's trainer is. So just how much does Rob McCracken mean, the man in Froch's corner? Rob McCracken could lay claim to being the most successful boxing coach in the country right now, but he's too modest for that. However, his CV speaks for itself. Not only has he guided Carl Froch to world titles, but masterminded Team GB's 2012 boxing success. One of Britain's 2 gold medalists there, Anthony Joshua, is now himself preparing to fight on the undercard of Froch's rematch with Groves. So what is so special about McCracken?
I think the most important thing, I've got so much respect for him and I trust him, and trust is a big factor in boxing. When you go back to your corner between each round, you need to take the advice of your coach, and you've got to trust and believe in your coach, and he can see things unfolding what you can't maybe see.
Rob, who is from Birmingham, was himself a successful boxer. He won British and Commonwealth titles and fought for the world middleweight title. But it is coaching where he's really made his mark on the sport. So what does he make of his own role in Carl's success? You must sit back yourself sometimes, mustn't you, and think, I've done a good job with him.
I hope so. I hope I've helped him out as best as I could and guided him through. But he's been brilliant, and what a career. But it will continue for a while, yeah. And I'm pretty confident he'll be victorious on the 31st of May.
Rob describes Carl as the most dedicated fighter he's met, but admits there is a big difference in this Carl ahead of this fight with George Groves compared to the first time, when even Rob himself found it hard getting Carl motivated.
Well, it was fairly difficult, to be honest, in the last camp for the first fight with Groves. But this time he's back to his old self. He knows he's got to work on things. He knows he's got to put things in place, and he knows that Groves is a challenge.
So this time Carl is ready for a tough fight. How will it pan out? No one knows for sure. But as always in the Cobras fights, there is one certainty: a cool, calm, and reliable ally in Froch's corner.
Well, Steve, it certainly is exciting stuff. One thing I wanted to ask, though, England, of course, are playing at Wembley tonight, less than 2 hours to go before kick-off. How on earth are they going to turn it around before this massive fight tomorrow?
Absolutely. Well, that game's live on ITV, so while you're enjoying that, keep a thought for all those people who are going to have to change this stadium in such a short space of time. I am told as soon as the game finishes, work begins. They'll have the last seat in, get this, 5 to 4 tomorrow afternoon. The doors open for the boxing at 5:30. There's no opportunity to get this wrong. It's going to be a massive night.
Thanks, Steve. Great report.
Brilliant stuff. Exciting.
Well,
Can't wait.
Britain's Got Talent star Lucy Kay has been back in Leicester to meet some fans and to get her hair done.
As you do. The 25-year-old opera singer who was born in the city made it through to the finals on Wednesday after wowing the judges. And in need of pampering, Lucy visited her sister's salon to get her hair done and to have a quick chat with us about how it feels to reach the Britain's Got Talent final.
I actually had 3 people in mind, 3 acts in mind that I thought would get through, and I was not one of them. I just didn't think that I was in with a chance at all. I don't know why, but it does make me believe that maybe I could be doing my dream very soon if I work hard enough.
To see her where she is now is kind of just strange, really. It's phenomenal. I couldn't have asked for anything better, really.
And you can see how Lucy and the other finalists, including Leicester's Dancers Addict Initiative, get on in the live final here on ITV next Saturday. It's all the excitement, Matt. I can't wait.
Too much going on over the next few days and hours. It's brilliant. So much to watch. Right, here's the weather with Amanda Houston.
What's in store for today? ITV Local Weather, sponsored by CenterParcs.
Hello there. So it has been a quiet end to the working week, and looking ahead to the weekend, well, it's not looking too bad at all. There is the chance of the odd light shower, but for most of us it is going to be dry with a few bright or sunny spells. Now the reason for it, we're going to have a ridge of high pressure with us over the next couple of days, and that's going to keep us fine and settled. Make the most of it though. As you look out towards the Atlantic, this area of low pressure here will eventually bring some outbreaks of rain as we approach Monday, but ahead of it, not too bad. Now for tonight, there will be a lot more cloud affecting western areas, but some clear breaks, especially to the north there, so that it will feel quite chilly. We're looking at a low of 7 degrees. Now tomorrow morning gets off to quite a cloudy start to the day in the west, but some lovely sunshine in the east there. The chance of the odd light shower for the afternoon, but as I say, most of us will see a fine and dry day. We've got light winds, and in the sunshine it's not going to feel too bad at all. We're looking at a top temperature of around 17 or 18 degrees, at 64 in Fahrenheit. Then it's a repeat performance on Sunday, mostly dry to begin with. However, we'll see 1 or 2 showers arriving later, and at this stage it is looking settled with rain at times and slightly cooler from Monday onwards.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by CenterParcs.
The Pollen Count, sponsored by Checkatrade.com.
Checkatrade.com.
Well, if you do suffer from tree pollen, there will be moderate traces of it over the next 24 hours and indeed on Sunday. But with unsettled conditions arriving on Monday, it will drop down to low. See you later. Bye-bye.
Time now for a reminder of tonight's top stories on ITV News Central in the West Midlands this evening. More than 240 workers have left a Dunlop tyre factory in Birmingham for the last time after the American owners decided to close it and move work abroad, ending almost 100 years of production at the site.
A doctor from Birmingham has been struck off the medical register after being filmed by an undercover reporter agreeing to arrange for 2 girls to undergo female genital mutilation. Ali Mao Awais suggested the girls be taken to Africa.
And 19 yellow balloons have been released by Stephen Sutton's mother and brother at the end of a vigil for the teenager. Thousands of people attended Lichfield Cathedral during 2 days of Thanksgiving for Stephen, who died from cancer earlier this month.
Indeed, that's all we have time for tonight on the day so many people paid their respects to a teenager who made such a difference to so many people.
Yes, the total he's so far raised for charity has passed 4 million, but the number of people he's inspired is no doubt even more. Our thoughts tonight are with his family. From us, it's goodbye.